Let's talk family. Let's talk family about the things that impact us as individual family members, as a whole, as a community family, and as a country family. Let's Talk Family Live. Let's Talk Family is a program brought to you by Family Life Ministries. Family Life Ministries is a counseling organization that primarily offers individual, family, and relationship counseling. We have counselors who are available to speak on a number of subjects for your conferences for church, school, or work. Family Life Ministries is also known for its media programs, the divorce recovery program Fresh Start, and its company counseling package, the Employee Assistance Program. Visit our website at www.familylifeministriesjamaica.com. Find us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries or on Instagram at FLMJA, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA. We'll give our numbers at the end of this program. Now here's today's episode of Let's Talk Family.
Welcome to Let's Talk Family. I am your host, Nicola Carrara. Let's consider the verse of the day. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. That's 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4. Good evening, everyone. When we speak about love, we use the word quite loosely. We throw it around in reference to just about any and everything from a dress to the weather. But did you know that when it comes to people love, there is something called a love language? Well, let's find out more as we welcome licensed associate clinical psychologist Sonia Wynter, who is fluent in the language. Thanks, Sonia, for being here.
Hi, Nikki. Great to talk about this wonderful subject again. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. So let's talk love. And so there are 5 love languages: words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. So let's delve more into words of affirmation and gifts, shall we? So, Sonia, what are words of affirmation?
Okay, Nikki. So words of affirmation is one of the love languages. And as we spoke about earlier, love language is how do I express and understand the expression of love. So let's imagine that you have your partner's primary love language is words of affirmation.
Yes.
Then it means that you can make them feel loved by telling them, for example, how much you appreciate their compassionate nature or any other positive quality that they may have. You may compliment their appearance, or you may commend them for a job that they've done well at work. The words can often be spoken face to face or over the phone or in a card or text or email nowadays. But all of us appreciate affirming words. But for those whose primary love language is words, nothing speaks more deeply, according to Dr. Chapman. And he is the scientist who has conceived of this notion of love language. And he says the important thing is that the words are spoken sincerely as expression of your love for them and not as an effort to manipulate them into doing something for you.
Yes, that is something I want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not manipulate someone with words of affirmation? Because sometimes, you feel like, I want them to do this thing for me. Mm-hmm. How do you not do it? So you say, honey, you cook so well because you want more food. So, what is wrong with that anyway?
Well, you know what? I always say that one of the most important things in communication is trying to be authentic as possible, and if you can be forthright about the affirmation and the need at the same time. So if I say, you know what, honey, you are a great cook and it just makes me want more and more and more, and I can't help but asking you for more food or something, or asking you to cook this lasagna for me. You just cook so well and it makes me love this and I want more. So you're kind of being very nakedly honest about what this is about. It's a request that I'm making of you. It happens to be tied to something that you do well, but I'm being clear about what this communication is about. Whereas if it's not about manipulating, it's just, I've noticed you've done something and I'm affirming you for it. And, one of the most powerful ways to use words of affirmation is to catch somebody doing something in the moment and affirm them right there and then. Because it has been demonstrated time and time again that small acts, catching people and affirming them in small moments creates a more profound bond than when you do big acts of service, like you take them out on a cruise or go for dinner or something like that. If your day-to-day interactions are about catching people and affirming them, doing things for you, for your relationship, for your family, doing things that are admirable, you catch them and you say it, that has an extremely profound bonding impact on the relationship that you have with that person. So that's one way to use words of affirmation, such that it's not tied with a manipulation, catching them in the act.
Wow. So, I have another question. What if this person just really gets on your nerves and you just don't have nothing good to tell them, but their love language is words of affirmation?
Well, they may get on your nerves, Nicola, that's true. But you know that it has been demonstrated again that, the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, applies to all human beings. So, and what that means is that 80% of the time our behavior is conducive to bonding, and 20% of the time it isn't. And that's for almost everybody. So even the most annoying person, if you're on the lookout, if you're hyper vigilant for what they do right, for what they are doing out of consideration for someone else, for what they're doing that's admirable, if you're hyper vigilant, always looking for it, you will find the opportunity to affirm something that they've done. And what I mean by words of affirmation, it's more important to say, you switched on the lights for me because you knew I was coming home late, and that was thoughtful of you. Thank you so much. That's words of affirmation. I appreciate you thinking about me. That's more profound because you're tying the affirmation to something that they just did. That's more profound than saying, oh, you're the most wonderful person in the whole wide world. And it's not necessarily tied to anything. So that goes for the annoying person too. If you are actively looking, you will find something that you can affirm them for.
Okay, so you're saying be intentional then.
Absolutely. Be intentional and be hyper vigilant first. Looking. Because as human beings, we're very hyper vigilant for when somebody is doing something that's aggravating, annoying, or not in our interest. And we speak about it. And so it's expanding your observation and your awareness beyond just what the person is doing wrong to also pick up what they're doing right and then being intentional about affirming it.
Wow. So now let's switch to gifts. How does that work as a language of love?
So in terms of gifts, things like if you have a partner who really likes gifts, doing things for them or giving them gifts, such as, I think I mentioned it earlier, pointing out something for them. It doesn't have to be, something expensive or anything like that. In fact, believe it or not, Nicola, this is the least common of the love languages, gifts, believe it or not. Yes, even though it's just only by a small margin, apparently, based on surveys that I've seen of the 5, this one in particular also, it gets a bad rap because a lot of times people might think that just because receiving a gift makes the person feel loved means that they're somehow superficial or materialistic. But the truth is that it could very well mean that the individual is moved by the time and the thought and effort that you put into choosing the gift. And that's why even a small gift will have a big impact on this particular person, because that means that they also notice when very little love went into the gift, The wife, for example, who has given her husband, you ever heard the story of the little boy who gave his grandmother a tricycle for her birthday, right? That's a gift, but he's likely thinking more about how the gift can suit him more than even his grandmother, So the thought behind it, the effort to identify it, is a big part of why people appreciate gifts as a love language.
Okay, because you know what? I have spoken to some young ladies, and one young lady in particular said to me, my boyfriend don't love me anymore because he don't give me money anymore. Mm-hmm. So how does that work? And is money a gift?
It can be for some people. And again, you know what, Nicola, that can be also a cultural thing, right? Where, in certain families, our love was expressed by the giving out of money. Okay, so that my needs were always met by this person giving me money. And that's kind of what I understand, in a family, in a community, whatever, that can often be like a cultural expression of love and connection and the interest. Okay, so for her, maybe that's what she's always seen, that's what she's experienced in her relationships, and so that's what she understands as an expression of interest and commitment to her. And so for her, the gift of money is an expression that she understands and can relate to.
Okay, so how often do you give these love languages then? Does it ever get too much?
It can. So I think a lot depends on the relationship, and again, being attuned to the person with whom you're connecting. It can become too much in the case where individuals have what we call, we're now going over into the realm of attachment theory now, where how do people handle attachment? So there are some people who have what we call an insecure attachment. And those people, they need constant reassurance that the person they're involved with are not going to abandon them. So that person might be very clingy, might be very needy of expressions of love constantly, in a way that is difficult to satisfy for most people, And so they need a lot of expression of love all the time. It's like there's never enough of it. And then also they hold on to their partners by expressing love in an overflowing, exaggerated way because there's an insecurity that is in their style of attaching more so than might what be specific to this particular relationship that they're in.
Wow. Wow. You know what? That sounds so wonderful. But we're running out of time. Thank you, Sonia, for being here. Thank you. And folks, think about what you say and give to your loved ones. It may just determine how they perceive your love. Thank you, Sonia, for being here. I look forward to talking with you again. Blessings all around.
Thanks, Nicola.
This was Let's Talk Family, a production of Family Life Ministries. If you or anyone you know would like advice and counseling, call us or head office at 1 Cecilio Avenue at 876-926-8101, 876-929-4360, or 876-920-1034, or center in Port Moore at 117 Cecile Avenue at 876-939-7917.
Do you have a story of a personal miracle you'd like to share? We'd love to hear it. Send us messages via our Facebook page, FLM Family Life Ministries, or to our Instagram account at FLMJA. And you can listen to other miracle stories on our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries -FLM _JA. Share your miracle for the glory of God.
This program was produced at the studio of the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, located at 12 Carlton Crescent, Kingston 10. Call us at 876-926-6059 for your voiceover and broadcasting needs.